So it should be there any second now. I'm just going to check it's in the right place because that can happen for yes. Awesome. So I'm going to keep an eye on it here. So if people, cool, any questions at any point? Awesome. So hey guys, how are we doing today on this lovely Friday? I'm here with the gorgeous Sophie. Really excited about this. So those of you might not know Sophie. Some of you might on my profile. Sophie and me met, when did we meet? Like 18, it's got to be like 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago?
Yeah, if not more.
Yeah, wow. 2 years ago at another marketing kind of program. And so we've just like kept in touch ever since, really. Like we've just been in each other's world, just been seeing what we're doing, and we just felt really cool to kind of do this live for you guys. We think it'll be really helpful because people always talk about, yeah, follow your gut, use your intuition, and particularly in the business world as well, that is used a lot. And I just feel like some people are just like, well, what the fuck is that? Like, how do I even begin to use that? How do I know if I'm using my intuition? How do I know if it's like fears taking over and all that sort of stuff? And Sophie is just a genius around energies and really connecting to yourself. So in fact, Sophie, go ahead and just tell everyone a bit about what you do and who you are.
So hi everyone, hi those that I've never met before, and hello to all of those that I do know. Yeah, my name's Sophie Watson, and I help corporate and entrepreneurial men and women to get back in control of stress and anxiety and create a life that they love. Now, the thing is, the way that I work is very different from most people. I am what is known as an empath. So basically, I actually feel other people's emotions, any energetic blocks they have, or any physical pain, which I know is really weird. And some people say to me, oh my God, that poor you. But actually it helps me to understand them a lot better. So I can get to the root of what's really going on with someone very quickly because I can feel it on me. And because I'm working with spirit, I'm working with my guides, they tend to put stuff in my head. So it may be an age as to when something started, when something occurred, and then we can go back and rework it and switch how they feel about that particular event. Even if they feel as though they've dealt with it, there's still energy that they're holding on to it from that time. So yeah, so that's how I work in a nutshell, basically.
It's amazing.
It's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm keeping an eye on the live stream on my profile. Just guys, if you ever have any questions throughout this, like we'll be keeping an eye on it. I'm keeping an eye on it just so I can see any questions or anything like that. And there's a delay. So I think yeah, it's a bit confusing for me. So yeah, awesome. So let's talk straight. Let's just go straight in with this.
Yeah.
And talk about the intuition. And first of all, Sophie, it'd be really awesome for you to give your kind of perception on what you feel that intuition is, for a start, really simplistically, for those that like have just heard this, like, oh yeah, use your gut, follow your gut, and all this sort of stuff, but don't really kind of understand what it is. Let's just start there for now.
Okay. So your intuition is basically when you are going into something, when you're doing anything, it's that first thought that comes to you. Okay. It's that feeling that you get. So even if you haven't got a thought, you get a feeling about something. And it may be a feeling to run away. It may be a feeling to move forward into it. It may be sort of like an excited feeling. So it's about knowing your feelings and actually trusting them, but also going with what comes straight into your head. So if you were to be asked a question, it's like that first answer that comes into your head. That's part of your intuition. And what we tend to do is we tend to overthink things. So we get that first off, we get that first instinct. And then what we tend to do is overthink it and question it, when actually that first instinct is the right answer.
Can I add something on that as well? Because from my experience, I feel that one of the reasons why we go against that intuition and go against that like initial first thought is because it's not what we want to hear.
Yeah, Exactly. We tend to like go, oh, that's not happening. No, that's not right.
Yeah.
And then we start to really question it. So
yeah, get it. Hey, Junior's just commented. Hey. So building on the intuition and like listening to that, because I personally feel like it's definitely something we get to practice. Like it's something you get to evolve and tune into. It's not something that suddenly is like, yes, I'm so in tune with my intuition, I can feel it and hear it all the time. For me, that definitely evolved, and I got to really explore when I trusted it and when I did, like I had to go through those times where I went against it to realize that, okay, this is what going against my intuition feels like. So what kind of advice can you give to those that kind of like haven't even begun to process that there is an intuition there, and what tools can they use to be able to begin to listen to it a little bit more?
Okay, so it's really about quieting your mind. So meditation is like the biggest thing you can possibly do, especially for your intuition. It's also just experimenting with it as well, because you don't know until you become aware of it. You don't really, you're not aware of it, if that makes sense. So you can't develop it if you don't know that it's actually there. So it's trial and error, and it takes a while. I mean, I've been sitting in the spiritual development group and doing work with energy for 14 years. So I know now, yeah, this is what I need to do. So for example, I can have something happen. If I notice that my energy is not feeling quite right, so I notice that I'm not feeling great, maybe I'm feeling like I've got a strange mood going on and I can't tell why it is. It's normally because my intuition is trying to tell me something and I'm just not listening. So what I do is I just tune into myself. I just ask myself those questions. I go into that quiet space and I just ask myself questions. So what is this about? Why am I feeling this way? And I don't force anything to come. I just wait and see what actually comes up, what is actually said, and then go with it. And that's really how to use your intuition.
Awesome. So let's move on to intuition in business. This is where like, I love talking about business. This is where I'm really going to enjoy this part of the conversation, because even like as I was thinking about this topic and like what to kind of draw to people's attention, I was even thinking about, there was this I've forgotten, I think it was just, I'm sure someone must have said it, like this sort of saying of like, keep your emotions out of business and stuff like that, like a very traditional and like old school way of doing business, keep your emotions out of it. And for me, in my experience, I absolutely get to follow my emotions in business, not to the sense of like, you know, if I'm feeling really upset and like if I'm crying, I'm gonna like, you know, go into my business and kind of like make some sort of decision. I don't mean that. It's basically just understanding that your emotions are also a guide for you. And for me, I believe that when we're in the business of when we're in business, we are in the business of people, that it very much is about connecting with people. And like you just beautifully said about the empathy, like that is everything that I believe business gets to be, particularly around marketing, that we get to really understand people, we get to really connect to them so that we can help them in like a greater way. So in regards to using your emotions and intuition in business, what has your experience been, and how would you kind of assist people in kind of, because what I feel people do is that they tend to run from their emotions, particularly when they're painful, and they don't want to feel it, and they only expect to feel high positive, and even in more of our world where people are a little bit more aware of intuition and stuff, they're like, I can't take an action in my business unless I'm feeling good. And that for me is a bit of a block, and I can talk about that in a sec. I would love to know your thoughts on that.
Okay, so as soon as you've asked me that question, I've got two scenarios for you that happened. Okay, so the first one was a really good one. I had some ideas in my head, and I was like, okay, how can I help my clients in a bigger way? What do they actually need? Now that I've done sort of like, maybe they've done one-to-one program with me, I was like, what do they need now? So I just basically went into my Facebook group that I've got of my past and present clients, and I did a little poll in there. So I had a couple of ideas. So I just put in there, hi guys, I'd really like to know what you think of these ideas. What do you guys need help with? And I left space for them to add anything extra that they wanted. And when I looked at the results, the majority of them wanted help with wealth and abundance. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I do that every single day. I do law of attraction stuff. That's absolutely fine. I can teach these guys that. So I got really excited by that. And because I was recognizing that I got really excited by it, it was a weekend. I don't work weekends, but I actually said to my husband, look, there's something I've got to go and do, because my excitement level has just gone right up and I need to do this now. So I came into here, I sat down, and within 20 minutes, I'd created a program for them. And so I immediately went live into the group, because I knew that my excitement level was high. So I knew the energy would be high, and a load of them jumped on the live stream. And I basically told them what the program was going to be, gave them the links. If they wanted to join in, they could just go and sign up. And that was that. So I left it at that. When I went back and looked at it, within an hour, I'd made $1,000.
Wow.
I was like, okay, so maybe I needed to be doing this. So, and then from there, having done that program a few times, because they absolutely loved it, there was a couple of people that were saying, Sophie, I don't ever want to leave this group. I want this to continue. So I was like, okay, so now I've got to create something else. So then that turned into a membership program. So we do calls, and we have 2 calls a month now. And it's all about getting them in the right space to manifest the things that they want. And from that, the amazing things that they have manifested. I mean, we've had an engagement, we've had the actual venue, like the dream venue found. I'm going to be a bridesmaid, by the way, for this wedding.
Oh, amazing.
Awesome. We've had, what else? Vans, cars. Recently, we've had a house that's been manifested. $7,000 in someone's business. So I love doing it, because I love seeing how people change and progress and how they learn. So that was the first scenario. So not only did that help me, but that helped all of my clients that wanted to jump in on that. Mm-hmm. So that was me following my intuition, me following my gut instincts, and going with it straight away. So then the other scenario, which we chatted about the other day, actually, so basically a company that I was subcontracting to, they were making a few changes, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Anyway, it was this one week, and I remember the days, it was a Wednesday and a Thursday, and my energy was really bizarre. I was not feeling right at all, and I didn't know why I wasn't feeling right. I couldn't put my finger on it. And so the Thursday morning, I had had enough of this energy already. I was like, right, I really need to figure out what this is. So I'm hanging out my washing on the line, and I'm going, okay, what is this about? Why am I feeling this way? And all I kept getting was that company that I was subcontracting to. It was coming into my head. It kept coming in. I was like, okay, so do I need to finish working with them? And I was getting yes, yes, yes. And I was supposed to be helping them out with 2 events. And one of them was on the following Monday. So this is on Thursday. It was the Monday that I was meant to be helping them out. And I was like, okay, so should I be doing this event on Monday? And I kept, no, no, no. I was like, okay, should I be doing this event in October that I was supposed to be doing with them? I was getting, no, no, no. So I was like, oh, okay, right. So that I know that means that I've got to leave. But one, I don't really want to leave them in the shit, because I'm meant to be doing something for them on Monday. So I messaged a friend of mine and I said, and actually some of you will probably know her, Mags, we call each other Spooky Bird because we both really connect with spirit. So I messaged her and I said, have you got time to chat? And she's like, yeah, let's get on a call. So this was 10 o'clock in the morning. And I just needed that reassurance from somebody else that I know is really connected to intuition and spirit and all of that. And she was like, Sophie, you're absolutely right. This is what you need to do. So I was like, okay. So that's 10 o'clock in the morning. By 11 o'clock, I had messaged the other company and I'd said, look, I'm really sorry. I've loved working with you, but it's time for me to move on. But I said I would do the following Monday because I didn't want to leave them in the shit. So yeah. And from that, as soon as that let go, that energy shifted. Because that energy to start off with felt like I needed to run away, which I don't do. I don't run away from things, but it felt like I needed to run. As soon as I did that, the energy shifted. And then within like 2 weeks, my business had really gone like that. It was crazy.
Amazing.
So things that we think can maybe be tough and difficult, there's actually a reason behind it. We actually need to keep following our intuition and actually going with it, because at the end of the day, once you get through that little rough patch, it's not forever. It's like a storm. It comes and it shifts things, and a storm will actually lift things up and it will spread seeds elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of things that I feel really good to draw people's attention to. With the first scenario, when you had this excitement about this potential program, I would love to point out the fact that, because what a lot of people kind of think about intuition, that it's so very internal and sort of focusing inner, and absolutely it is, yet that's not always where the soul answers are. So what Sophie did was went into the group and asked her clients, then the ball really got rolling. Does that make sense? It's the combination of, okay, my gut is just kind of, my intuition is just kind of saying, take this step. And then in her head, Sophie may not have had like this wealth abundance program already there until she asked her clients. And that was like the beginning of it. It's a ricochet effect. And sometimes we expect to have all the answers when we follow our intuition. And I feel that that's one of the reasons why we don't, because it's like, well, my intuition is just kind of saying, well, take this step. But then what is that going to lead to? And we try and figure it out and work out what's going to happen to us. But so we ignore taking that first little step. So that's the first thing that I really want to draw your attention to, particularly in business. When you're building this connection with your clients, like, they will absolutely tell you what they want from you. If you ask them, they will tell you what their fears are, what their struggles are, and what they require assistance with. And then if it's something within your skill set, you can absolutely create something for them. No wonder it works so well. The second thing with leaving this company, what I talk about this all the time. I talk about having like a full capacity, and energy absolutely takes up capacity. Even if you think about if you're worrying about something, for example, if you're worrying about money, bringing in clients into your business, like the majority of your time and energy is going to be spent focused on that. There's going to be little room for anything else. So what Sophie just spoke about, beauty, and the thing that I really admire about Sophie is when she feels that energy, she acts on it immediately, because she knows that she gets to let that energy like be released to welcome in something new. She knows that. And so when it's like an unsettling negative energy or something like that, it's something that Sophie, she beautifully said, like, she goes and faces. Because to run from it, it means that she'll be at full capacity with this negative energy for a longer period of time, rather than letting it release and flow and welcome in something new.
You explained that so well, Ruth.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. So in regards to, let's talk about the kind of the reasoning, like the head and like the logic. So we talk about like the head and the heart in business, and then the head, the heart, and the intuition kind of thing. They all connect, they all help each other. What is your kind of point of view and your perception on how the head kind of assists in business, as well as the heart and the intuition?
Okay, so the head is more the logical, step-by-step thing, which, like you said earlier, we tend to want to know all the answers. But the thing is, we don't need all the answers. We just need to take one step, and then things fall into place. It's synchronicity. If we are just taking that step and then just trusting that the universe is going to deliver to us, oh my God, amazing things happen. So going with your head, that's the logic. Okay, that's how you can create the systems and all of that. Whereas the heart is more about that energy of connecting with others, connecting with your ideal clients, connecting with everything around you. And then your gut is really what you need to be listening to. That is the real brain. That is where those nudges come from, that you need to make those changes. So in effect, we need to be listening to the whole of our body, not just our heads, which is what a lot of people do. And that's where many of my clients come from, is because they're all in their head. They're not paying attention to what the rest of their body's saying, or what, like the illnesses, the aches and pains. That's all connected to your emotions. That's all connected to the energy that's trapped within your body. But a lot of the time we tend to ignore it, or we tend to go to the doctor and ask for medication, which the medication isn't solving the problem, it's just masking it. So dealing with that stuff right away, like getting to the root of what that energy is, that then clears all the channels and helps you to think clearer too.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And there was something else that I just feel like is really kind of important to point out to you guys. And actually, I just literally, I was messaging Sophie before, when we spoke a little bit before we came on, and I was like, give me 7 minutes of posters, come through me. I just thought of a post, and then literally this is what the post is about. Because I feel that sometimes in business, in fact, I'm seeing it obviously. We're living in a time right now where we're used to things happen immediately, like text messages, phone calls. It's all very immediate. We're back in the olden day, like a letter would take, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days to get to someone, and you probably wait 3 or 4 days to get to reply. Now everything is so instant. Everything is so instant. And I feel like that is beginning to have a play in our day-to-day life, and particularly I see it so much in business, this impatience. And you mentioned practicing patience, and I completely fully agree with that. And what I find is that because business owners don't get the results that they want, without even thinking that maybe that's what they meant to go through to be able to eventually get what they want, they don't get what they immediately want, then they're just like, well, it doesn't work, so I'm not going to do it. Regardless whether the intuition is being nudging them to be like, no, keep going. We see the immediate results, and if it's not something that like we immediately kind of like is exactly what we envisioned, then sometimes we can give up. And even I had someone message me yesterday. They've read my ebook. I've just launched an ebook for Pilates instructors, all around marketing from the soul. It's what I truly believe in, what we're talking about, this heart connection way of marketing, where it's really about empathy and understanding humans, rather than like the only focus is just to get clients. Of course, the intention is to get clients, but it's just very much more than just saying stuff to bring people into the world. It's really understanding the human and making a difference to the person, even without them being a client. And someone messaged me and was like, yeah, I tried it, and Facebook said I haven't gone back, so I don't understand fully what happened. I'm doing that today. But Facebook kind of said that it was unethical or something like that, and so I didn't do it, and I went back to just talking about my classes and talking about when my classes are, and that didn't work either. That was a bomb as well. So what I see over and over again, that's just one example of people not willing to really try different things, and like having the patience to be able to let something grow and evolve. I think, like, if you think about building a relationship, for example, with someone, it really takes time. Like, building a relationship takes time. You don't just meet someone and then like you're best friends and you can pour out your deepest, darkest secret to. It absolutely takes time. And I feel like marketing is exactly the same. I think relationships and business is exactly the same. Yet we're so focused on that, well, that doesn't work, so I'm not going to do it, even if our intuition is like, you're on the right path. And I think that's what people are missing, is that understanding that there's a bigger picture.
Yeah, Exactly.
And that's what the intuition is attached to, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's the whole thing of, if you think about it, like you were saying very rightly, it's connecting with that person. It's actually forming a relationship with them. I mean, even if you're not necessarily seeing that person wants to know you before they actually come to work with you. So the more that you can just trust that people are seeing it. I mean, loads of people don't even comment, they don't even like, they see a post, but they don't say anything about it and they move on. So they're seeing this stuff, but they're not actually communicating back to you that they've seen it. And then you'll get surprised when you actually bump into one of these people one day and they go, oh my God, I love your videos, I love your posts and all of this. And I've had someone come up to me before and say, I feel like you're a celebrity because I see you all the time. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. But that's what you need to be doing. It's just trusting, just keep going with it because the results will come. But it's being patient. It's just putting it out there, letting it go, getting on with other stuff and not worrying about it, which I know is difficult, especially if you're struggling with business and you want to get those people in. But it's just get on with it. And you never know how many people you're actually helping.
Yeah. That for me is the beauty of it. That's why I love marketing the way that I teach. And Isabel's just said hi, so hi Isabel. And Junior's just said, I'm loving this girl, so much truth. Thank you, Junior, very kind of you. And that's exactly what I believe like marketing gets to be about. It's actually, because I've had the same where I've had people message me and just been like, I just want to say I've been following your post for like about a year, thank you so much. And you're just like, I just didn't know. But the thing is, even more like you mentioned about people really get to know you before they come and client. I actually believe that people get to know you before they even engage with you. So people are like, oh, no one's seen my post, no one's commenting, no one's engaging. I put my heart out there and they've rejected me because they haven't like engaged. And it's like, it still takes some for people to click that button now and again. It still takes people to drop a comment.
Yeah.
Pardon?
They are seeing it.
Yeah, exactly. They absolutely are. And for me, it's like, well, if I'm saying something that could shift and change someone's life and perception of a business and I never know about it, that is still fucking awesome. Like I would prefer that any day.
Yeah.
Any day. And I did a post yesterday, is that for me, marketing is about, it's not, you don't market when you sell. Marketing is consistent. It's the relationship building. And people only are like, oh shit, I've got to sell this. Right, okay, so I'll better do some marketing. And for me, it's like, no. Marketing's the relationship building. If you're marketing to sell, you're selling. Like definitely selling. So really that patience and following that intuition and thinking beyond the immediate results that you have. Like it's looking at the long-term process as well. And I feel that's what trips a lot of business owners up, is because they're so focused on the short. Understandably, like, oh, I fucking have been there, where it's like, crap, I really need to create some money. Like I've absolutely been there
now.
Yes, exactly.
Like that.
Exactly. So I feel like it's like, if you're in that place where you're like, holy shit, I need to create some money now, there's a balance of both, because you absolutely get to honor the fact that you have commitments and bills and stuff like that. Yet it's about implementing the building of a relationship in the long term with the like creating some income for yourself now in a way that feels good for you. That's pretty much what I believe anyway.
And going back to the program that I created, it was those people had already worked with me. Those people already knew, liked and trusted me. Those people are the people that respond to my posts anyway.
Yeah.
So by asking them what else they needed, that's a great way to quickly get more money into your business. It's by focusing on the people that you have already bought from you, already know, like and trust you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then putting a strategy in place for you to be able to bring newer people into your experience at the same time. It's like both of them. You get to consider both of them. But I've literally been saying this these words like so much this week. I listened to a podcast. I've forgotten who the dude was, and he was amazing, but he was like, literally, the key to success is about the consistent, persistent micro actions. Like consistent, persistent micro actions. Because one post doesn't feel like you're gonna fucking change your business.
No.
But like, for example, I've been posting for like a year and a half now, and now obviously I've built my whole coaching business, and I haven't done any paid advertising. It's all been organic posts. It's all been this giving sort of mentality of advice and educating people and just giving as much advice as and like good content as possible. And like, I've just created a successful business of it. But if I thought when I post that one time, oh well, no one's a client now, so I'm not going to bother. It was a year and a half, and to be honest, sometimes I post more than once a day. Like, I post a lot, and it was just the fact that I've been persistent with it, and now people know me. Now people are really beginning to respond to me, and it's building that momentum. But you've got to start somewhere. And for me, it's not been the letting go of my Pilates business. It's not been the suddenly shifting to being a coach. That change, like those perceivably big shifts, it's been those little consistent, persistent micro actions that have had the biggest impact on my life and on my business. Definitely.
Definitely. It's the way to go.
Yeah. And I feel like your intuition does lead you there, but it's like, well, that can't be right, because that's not big enough, or that's not as, you know.
It's just trusting it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just go with it. If something comes into your head and you're like, where the hell has this come from? Go with it. Don't question it. Just trust, especially those little drop-ins that you get every now and then. You get this little spark of inspiration and like, where the hell did that just come from?
Yes.
It's because you're meant to be following it. It's because you're meant to be going down that route and just looking at it and exploring it.
Yeah. Beautiful. And just the last thing before we begin to wrap up, just as you said that, when you said that little drops of inspiration, I love that, because that literally is what my posts feel like. Where people are like, how the fuck do you post so much? And one of the foundations, I have an acronym of SAVA. It's space, action, vulnerability, and awareness. And space is the first one for a reason. You get to create space, and whenever I do that, it literally feels like a little droplet of inspiration. And what I do that others don't is I act on it straight away. Like me and Sophie, we actually arranged to kind of like talk about 10-15 minutes before we're about to go live, and I literally was like, Sophie, hold on, I've got a post that's just come through me. Like, I got that little drop of, and I prioritize it. And that's what people don't do. I absolutely prioritize. It's like Sophie did it with her partner, and she was just like, I know this is the weekend, but holy fuck, I'm excited about this, so I'm gonna action it. And that is the difference, is that we really listen, and we're like, okay, this has come through us for a reason. We have this trust. It's come through us for a reason. There must be someone that gets to hear it that is gonna create an impact for them. So therefore, I'm just gonna do it. And that's the difference. That's what I would say would be the difference between people really listening to their intuition and not. And therefore, why me and Sophie have the businesses we do. Yeah.
Exactly. Ruth, I love chatting with you. We just go, yeah.
I do. We just tend to go really deep and in all sorts of directions. You never know what's going to come out when we chat. Is there anything that you just want to add before you tell everyone like where they can find you and how they can get into your world and that sort of stuff?
I think it is just, sorry, my tortoise is knocking at the door's coming. I'll get him for you. Oi.
Oh, cool.
This is Dot.
Oh, Dot. What an epic name.
And he's just like, he likes to roam about, don't you? And yeah, he was just scratching at the door, so he'll probably send my light line in a minute. But so he's now distracted me as to what I was going to say. I was just going to reiterate. It's just go with it. If something comes into your head, just take that opportunity. Just go with it. Even if you think it is like odd, it's weird, it's whatever it is, go with it. It's your intuition. It's really speaking to you. It's speaking to you for a reason, because it is guiding you. It's telling you what you need to do, rather than you sitting there and figuring it out all in your head. That's it. So yeah.
Awesome. We just have had a little comment from Isabel. Thank you, Isabel. She went, oh my God, using intuition for marketing and business is so big, and I've been forgetting to listen to it often. Listening to you two may remind me how important it is. Awesome. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased that it's giving you that reminder. And I've seen as well, you've trained in yoga recently, haven't you, Isabel? So I'm sure that was a bit of an intuitive pull to do that. But yeah, absolutely, it is really important. I feel like it's because what sometimes people can forget is that business and marketing, they feel like it's not a part of who they are, but like obviously your intuition is so part of who you are as this awesome human. Like, therefore it can't not be in your business. Like, you're using it whether you're realizing it or not. It's there whether you realize it or not. It's just whether you're listening to it and paying attention and then following it. That's just the difference. Like, we forget that who we are as a human is absolutely who we are in our business, and it just seeps into our business. So who we are being on a day-to-day basis, what we believe, our experiences, all that sort of stuff will be how we've created our business. Like, we're very attached to it, whether we want to like acknowledge that or not, really. So yeah, and yes, Isabel said that she did just training in India. Yeah, it looked incredible. Give us an update on that, because it looked absolutely incredible on the pictures that I saw anyway. So Sophie, tell everyone where they can find you and how they can go into your world a little bit. And Junior, by the way, said that your tortoise is really cute.
Thank you. Yeah, he's just got tangled up in some cables. That's why I disappeared very quickly. Yeah, so my Facebook page, I will put a link to that in the comments in a moment, but that is the best place to find me. If you want to know more about one-to-one, working with me one-to-one, then just message me on that profile, on that Facebook page, and then I can give you some more details and things. But yeah, in the future, I'm going to be doing more of the abundance programs as well. So the first place that you'll find out about that is on my Facebook page. And I also do a live Q&A on a Wednesday evening. So if you want to join me, if you've got any questions about stress, anxiety, or creating the life that's better for you, actually really getting in tune with what you are supposed to be doing with your life, where you're meant to be going, even within business, then just join me or send me a message. So that's it. Okay, guys.
Awesome. I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here, lovely lady. It was so awesome to have this chat with you. Yeah, really awesome. And thank you. Yes, we'll talk about that in a sec. And thank you so much for those that have joined. I've seen a few of you have joined, and thank you so much for your beautiful comments. We really appreciate it. If you do have any more questions, like for Sophie or myself, feel free to just tag us in the comments below and we will get to you. And like I said, Sophie's details will be in the link in the comments as well. Any last words, Sophie?
Love you all. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Well, have a good day, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.